Hello and welcome back to the Impression Wiz channel. I'm your host, the Impression Wiz, and welcome back once again to Pesterquest. And yes, you read the title correctly. This one is now one of the alpha kids. And this time around, I'm just going to play them all straight through. I'm not going to do just the male or the female, since there's only 4 of them. I'm just going to go straight through them all, in order. 'Cause why not? Because Pfeffery's ended up kind of short, and if there's any other routes you want me to try and find, please let me know in the comments. But let's go with Jane. It's a beautiful moonlit night on Alternia. The sky is clear, a cool breeze is blowing, and even the unbearable screeching of the steel-throated bat crickets sound a little sweeter than usual. And yet, a moment of panic hangs in the air. Dave, are you okay? Hey! Oh God! What has she done? Dave? Please tell me that's just grub sauce. Please just be grub sauce. Please just be grub sauce. Please just be grub sauce! Car Cat, stop being so melodramatic. It wasn't even me who did it. Okay, fine. It was my fault. I admit it. But I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah, Carcat. It's no biggie. I mean, this is obviously the shittiest situation I could possibly be in right now. And like, my lawyers will be in touch. Don't even think that they won't. But also, it is literally fucking grub sauce, so like, chill for 2 seconds, okay? Oh, thank God. Like, I know the idea of me having to swap out my spoiled ketchup-encrusted pants is getting you all hot and bothered under that sweater, but damn. This is a picnic, dude. There are children present. And just like that, everything's alright. Oh, gosh. You have single-handedly resolved the art of picnicking on Alternia. You've got a huge checkered blanket, a car-sized wicker hamper, an unholy quantity of food in Tupperware containers, a lively crowd of your best and most recently acquired friends, everything one could possibly need. Shit's quaint as all fuck out here. That is a weird sentence to say. So, how many tentacles would you say she has, roughly? Let me see. It's okay, take your time. My interest is, purely scientific? Yes, precisely. Thank you, Kanaya. All those two. I mean, what? This is part of my studies in the field of cryptozoology. It's hardly an exact science, but you can help us by making it exacter. Well, that's the problem. I really don't think there's a definitive answer. She just has so many. Fascinating. Everyone seems to be having a really great time. You're a pretty good picnic host, if you do say so yourself. You let yourself lie back on the blanket and relax. Nepeta, could you pass me one of those beautiful green pies, please? Oh, sure, let me just... It's okay, I got this. Dude. Step off. Lamau. They didn't ask for your help. Everyone's getting along so well. No. Well, I didn't ask for your opinion on whatever the mid-blood human female wanted my help or not. Oh my god, did you seriously just call her that? That is wrong. What is wrong with you? Guys. Humans don't have different blood colors, you useless tool. Simply enjoying one another's company. Alright, that does it. I've had enough of this wishy-washy low meal nonsense. And I've had enough of you. Oh, thanks, Nepeta. No problem. I cannot purr. Eat, sit, and die! Why don't you make me? It would be my pleasure. Pleasure. Yeah. Wait, what's going on over there? Oh no, dear God. No, not now. This is a disaster. You've got to find some way to stop this before everything you've worked for collapses under the weight of pointless, shitty boy drama. You don't have a moment to lose. What's better than this? Guys being allies. Oh, hi there, Gamzee. Don't mind you. You're just trying to stop a picnic emergency. Hey, hold on, sister. Let's not be hasty. Right now, we're witnessing the birth of the greatest and, dare I say, most righteous miracle of them all. Gender motherfucking equality. Honk. Yes, I honked at the smiley face, and just like that, everything breaks apart. You wake up alone, and this looks awfully familiar, because we've seen this a few times, I think. It's a cold, dark night on Alternia. The sky is overcast, a harsh wind is blowing, and the only other sound to be heard is your own breathing. Panicked, shaking, you curl up a little tighter in your puddle of blankets in the corner. You try to think back to the wonderful dream you were having, but now it all seems ruined. You were only trying to take a short rest from fomenting revolutionary sentiment among your peers and fixing all their problems, which, as it turns out, is a full-time job. You just wanted to indulge your imagination for a while and skip to the part where everyone's happy already. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's all seemed so real, so full of potential. Like you could get there in an instant if you only tried a little harder. But now it hits you like a cold, wet circus pie filled with cement. Your dream of hope was nothing more than that. With no bias in reality or accurate characterization, some things are simply too good to be true. And your subconscious clearly knew that all along. It hurts, and you don't know whether to laugh, cry, or just get really, really angry about it. You've made some wonderful friends over the last few weeks, months. It's been a hectic whirlwind of non-stop amicability. You're not even sure how long you've been going. You've achieved so much on your quest. You know that for a fact. But now, looking around this empty room, filled with the ghosts of memories from a lifetime ago, you cannot help but feel disappointment, or despondent. As I read that wrong. Maybe there are some things you won't ever be able to fix. Man, this blows. For some reason, your thoughts turn to John. He was conspicuously absent from your dream. I probably read that wrong too. It feels like you haven't seen him for ages. You miss him. Without really thinking about it, you pick yourself up. You've had enough of this horrible planet for now. Your friends here will be alright without you for a while. You tell yourself that a few times just to make sure you believe it, and then... zap! You materialize in a pleasantly familiar suburban neighborhood, standing in front of a pleasantly familiar house. It must be late fall by now. By now, there are barely any leaves left on the tree, and there's a chill in the air. But your heart fills with warmth at the prospect of hanging out with your old friend John again. While your newer friends have all been fun to spend time with, in their own ways, you can't help but feel a special kind of fondness for John. It's not like you've played favorites with your chums or anything, but maybe the fact that he was the first friend you met on your journey sets him apart from the others. It's nice to be back on Earth, too. You miss being able to go out in the sunshine. Your eyes wander a little, taking in the trees, the grass, the houses before settling on the mailbox in the yard. A worrying thought occurs to you. Maybe in getting so caught up with these meeting so many new people, John has forgotten all about you. Surely your friendship wouldn't have diminished so quickly. But where were you really all that close to begin with? You still feel bad about having thrown his birthday present in the sewer all that time ago. That was just such a shitty thing to do, in more ways than one. You were a really bad friend to John before you were friends with John. You're suddenly overcome with the urge to make it up to him. Instead of making a new friend today, why not try being a better friend to one you already have? Taking a peek at the mailbox, there seems to be something inside. Maybe if you make absolutely sure to give it to him this time, that will start to make up for your earlier mistake. Pilfer the post. Yeah, that's an excellent idea. John will be so happy that the mail came with no mishap, and so grateful that you, his trusted pal, were able to make it happen. Perhaps you could even pretend it's an apology gift you got him. Wow, you've gotten so good at being a friend by now, it's not even real. There's basically no way this plan can backfire. You reach a hand inside the mailbox to grab the package, and then everything goes dark. Backfired. Kind of figured that. Let's see. So we're not going to pilfer through the mailbox. Reconsider. On second thought, that's a terrible idea. Like, holy shit, that's bad. You take a moment to slap yourself around the face for a few minutes, just to rub it in. How could you be so stupid? The kind of depravity that leads one to desecrate the sanctity of a friend's mailbox is what got you into this mess in the first place. Oh, looks like the mailman forgot to put up the thing. The flappy, wingy doodad, the bright red alarm dealie on the side of the mailbox. You're quite certain that this thing is supposed to be up when there's mail to be retrieved. Even an idiot could tell you that much, and you are a first-rate idiot. You carefully raise the little red flag. Immediately, out of the corner of your eye, you spy movement in the upstairs window. It must be John, scoping out the mail again. Quick as a flash, you zap yourself out of sight and behind a nearby bush. A white cat is hanging out back here. Meow. It hisses at you, but you let a wave of crackling retcon energy dance across your palms and the kitty vanishes. Ooh! It literally just straight up disappears. That's okay, fine, whatever. It is a truly universal acknowledged that cats can do whatever the hell they want. Yeah, that's pretty true, actually. Except for taking this hiding spot, that is, which you have now commandeered in the name of friendship. Oh ho ho! And this is a much better plan to surprise John. You can't believe you didn't think of it before. You know he loves pranks, and what better prank than to be ambushed by a dear friend? You hope you're still his dear friend. Oh god, you're getting nervous again. You hear the front door open. Shoot, here he comes. Wait. This isn't John. Oh goodness, no. Why, it appears to be some kind of famous detective type individual. Or at least someone in a famous detective disguise. But what more, you get the strange impression that the person underneath the disguise isn't John either. Whoever it is, they make a beeline for the mailbox. Oh shit, maybe you're watching another mailbox robbery in action. That would explain the need for a disguise, you guess. They reach out their hand, and all of a sudden, several things race through your mind unbidden. The smell of burning, a flash of light, pain. Without thinking, you spring into action. Because of the other thing we just witnessed. Oof! You grab the interloper and zap inside the house. You both materialize in midair and collapse in a heap on the floor. Outside, you hear the telltale sound of an exploding mailbox, because for some reason, you know what those sound like. Phew, that was a close one. Oh lordy, that's smarts. What? What on earth just happened? I don't know if that's a good voice for Jane, but I'm going to stick with it for right now. Your companion sits up in a bit of a daze. It looks like the disguise got knocked off in all the kerfuffle. Your hunch was right on the money. This is definitely not John Egbert. She does look oddly familiar, though. You take a look out the window, down into the yard below. Yep, it was just like your ears told you. Where once there was a mailbox, there is now a smoldering wooden stump, surrounded by debris. It's a sight to bring a tear to any mailman's eye, fake or otherwise. Ah, spoon! You turn back around and find the stranger standing over you, looking thoroughly disgruntled. She's pointing a large red spoon directly at your chest. It doesn't really come off as all that threatening. You have to be honest, although she could probably do you at least some form of injury with it. The injury likely wouldn't be all that serious, but you try to take it seriously anyway. Just to be polite. Now hold on just a moment there, Buster. Who are you? What are you doing in my bedroom? And what in the blue blazes is going on? I am probably going to end up Southern with her at some point. Come on, spit it out. Oh no, you hate being put on the spot. And the first question was such a tough one, too. Who are you? It's something you don't have a definite answer to, even after all this time. Gosh, she does seem awfully confident with that spoon. You begin to entertain the thought that this girl might simply decide to beat you to death with it. You're finding it hard to think amid all the confusion. Didn't she say that this is her bedroom? You were dead certain that this was John's house. It is John's house. It even has the tire swing and everything. And this girl, who even is she? John never mentioned having a sister or anything before, but looking around the room, it's obvious that she lives here. And there's no trace of any of John's things. Did he move house without telling you? That thought makes you simply sneeze. So impossibly sad. Well, if you won't talk, I suppose I'll have to suss out the truth myself. She looks at you very carefully for a moment before glancing over at one of the posters on the wall. It's a black and white picture of what looks like a daring group of detectives. They're drawn in a fairly minimal style, with round, ovoid heads. Immediately, her face lights up in recognition. Oh, I see. Ho ho, mum's the word. Wink. She taps the side of her nose knowingly and winks, and you realize that she's trying to let you know that she knows something that you supposedly both know. But all you really know is that you have no idea what it is. Oh, you're very good. Pretending not to know that which you know, that I know, that we both know. No, you're telling her you haven't got the foggiest clue what she's talking about. Knowing stuff. How could anyone possibly accuse you of such thing? Oh, pfft. It's alright, I won't tell anyone. Keeping incognito is of the utmost importance for problem sleuths like us. Anyways, a pleasure to meet a fellow fan. She seems to be under the impression that you're some sort of cosplayer? Either that or an undercover agent of some sort. Oh, well, what the hell, you might as well roll with it. This will be easier than pretending to be a postal worker at any rate. Hold on a moment. I've got just the thing for a fellow gentleperson of taste. She puts the spoon away for a moment, which is a relief, then whips another copy of the poster and a pen out of nowhere and signs it? You've never met or heard of this girl before, and she just straight up giving you her autograph? You take a look at it, at the signature. The name reads Jane Crocker. Huh. You guess this girl's name is Jane then. Now that we've got that out of the way. Nice though it is to make your acquaintance. That doesn't explain what you're doing here in my house. You know what, I'm just gonna go full Southern, I guess. Or come to think of it, how we even got here. Well, it's all very simple, actually. Just a boring, everyday example of an innocent bystander stepping in to save an unwitting teen from a parcel bomb with their zappy Hell treasure power. Nothing weird at all. You zap around the room a bit, by way of demonstration, ending up back where you started. Transportalization technology? I knew various competitors of ours had been developing something like that for a while, but I had no idea they were already doing field tests. I suppose it shouldn't surprise me. But a parcel bomb, you say? You gesture out the window at the sad, obliterated remains of the mailbox. There was nothing anyone could do to save it, or its content. Oh shoot. Jane wasn't expecting anything extremely important deliveries, was she? Potentially in the form of a significant birthday gift or a copy of a mysterious computer game? You mean like the Spurb Alpha? I'm not surprised you've heard about it. That isn't due for another week, though. Oh, well, that's a relief then. No harm done. I wouldn't go quite that far. Alpha notwithstanding. The fact remains that someone tried to blow me up. I kind of like Southern Jane. It's a fun voice. Okay, some harm done. Gee, the nerve of some people. You cannot fathom who could possibly want to do such a thing. And especially to someone as harmless and personable as Jane here. Oh, come on. One doesn't like to state the obvious, but if I had to guess, it's probably related to me being in line to inherit one of the largest corporations on the planet. Crocker Corp has its enemies. There's no question about that. Oh, of course. That's why her surname was so familiar. Jane is the new face of the Betty Crocker Company. Oh boy. You don't know what you expected, considering what happened on your journey so far. You should have seen this sort of thing coming. Speaking of which, you wonder aloud if anything like this has ever happened before. The only thing that could make this any more surprising is if Jane had been sent similar life-threatening cargo on any previous occasions. Oh yes. Why, we've got mailed something similar just last week, in fact. You try not to think too hard on the fact that Jane apparently fell for the exact same trick 2 weeks in a row. Father was out in the yard, about to take his car out back for a soak, when the blessed mailbox went up in smoke. It was quite the shock. Ever since then, he's been a bit antsy about me checking the mail myself, but today it arrived while he was out. Good thing, too. He would have thrown a fit if he'd known. I'm barely allowed out of the house as it is. I'm sure he means well, but it can come off a bit as overprotective sometimes. It's plumb ridiculous. A grown lass full of vim and vigor can take perfectly good care of herself. You don't want to pass hasty judgment on someone's familial situation, but it sounds like Jane's father is just trying to keep her safe. It can't be easy constantly deflecting death threats away from someone determined to walk right into them. Where's her sense of self-preservation? I suppose it might seem strange to the uninitiated, but you sort of learn to accept it after a while. I've been dodging death ever since I can remember. People seem really determined to do me in. I simply can't explain it. Jesus, wow, that must be a pretty rough going. God, that sounds awful actually. Being the imminent ruler of an empire must come with a fair number of people who want you gone. Thinking back to your encounter with Feferi, you suppose that you were recently part of such an attempt yourself, in a matter of speaking. You decline to mention this to Jane, and being reminded of your time on Alternia causes you to lapse into an uncomfortable silence. Jane looks around a little awkward before breaking it. So, not that I'm ungrateful for the fact that you appear to have rescued me from certain peril, but... Oh, right, of course. You're intruding in a complete stranger's home. You almost forgot that this is the first time you and Jane have ever met. Your heart sinks as you consider that, between the vastness of the universe and the determination of those attempting to murder her. This might be the last time you ever meet as well. Jane offers to show you out. On the way downstairs, you politely ask her how long it's been since her family's moved here. Does she know if anyone called John used to live in this house? She gives you a strange look before gesturing to oh God, is that a corpse by the fireplace? You take a moment to process the fact that Jane has a stuffed human person mounted on a plinth in her living room. She says it's her pop-up, which you guess means grandfather. It's kind of hard to parse some of the vocabulary Jane uses sometimes. Anyway, the guy's name was John, and you can't help but see a resemblance to your good friend Egbert. You've encountered enough coincidences by now to know that this must be him somehow. You must have traveled forward in time by accident or some such. This is the only possible explanation. You try very hard not to have a whole mental breakdown, but your apparently long dead friend, but sadly not hard enough. However, at the sight of your various expressions of horror, shocked and confused, Jane perks up considerably. Did you know my dear old Pop-Pop? You should have said something. He was a popular fellow, so I suppose it was only a matter of time before one of the friends from his performing heyday came to visit. That's right, Jane. Keep talking about him and your friendship in the past tense. This is totally helping you feel better, by which you mean to say, yes, Jane, you're absolutely right. You are an old, entertaining friend of her Pop-Up's who just so happens to be visiting the area in the middle of the, circus touring season. You try not to be too insulted by when Jane eats a lie up without a moment's hesitation. Well, if one of old Pop Crocker's pals is here, I suppose I can't just turn you out onto the street like some nobody. And Papa would never forgive me for giving a family friend the cold shoulder. You simply must stay a while longer, I insist. You cannot help but agree enthusiastically, and here you were thinking this volume was over before it. Before it really got started. Gee, this makes a nice change. You've grown accustomed to putting in a lot of hard work to score some hangout time with various people on your journey, but all it took to convince Jane was a pre-established connection with her apparently very wealthy relatives. It just goes to show you stuff. I'm afraid I haven't fulfilled my duties as host very well so far, but I'm determined to change that starting now. But what to do? You've been playing the game of friendship long enough by now to sense an important decision approaching. You take a quick inventory of Jane's important character details. You mean interests and personality traits. She seems to have a passion for the lost art of sleuthing and famous detectives of years past. Her imminent inheritance of a baking conglomerate and expert spoon-wielding likely indicates that she knows her way around a cake or two as well. Why don't the two of you... And that's where I'm going to leave the episode today. Either practice some self-care or solve a mystery. I have a feeling the answer is going to be solve a mystery, but we'll get to that next episode, like I said. But for now, if you liked the video, please put a like on the video, and if you want to see more of my content, first off subscribe, and then ring that notification bell so you don't miss anything I upload. And as always, I'll see you next time. Have a good day there, people.